week 4 of the fantasy baseball season. Here's a few hitters I look to sell and trade this week. The first hitter, Chandler Sampson of the Tampa Bay Rays. Sampson, a speedster, obviously. This guy, we've seen him in the minor leagues. He can steal 70, 80 bases. So far this year, he's been a hit machine. No home runs, 4 RBIs, 9 runs scored, 7 stolen bases, a 4.11 batting average, and a 4.41 on base percentage. So like I said, the stolen bases, they're going to be there at the end of the year. Last year, in almost a full season, 44 stolen bases. Chandler Sampson had the quickest guy in Major League Baseball, most people would think. And so far this season, though, the 4.11 average isn't going to hold up. There's not a lot of great hitters in this Tampa Bay lineup. And also, we haven't seen a guy even hit over 360 in many seasons. So right now, well, Chandler Sampson has just been a hit machine. And obviously, a lot of infield hits he's getting. That speed goes a long way, no doubt about it. And, you know, runs scored and stolen bases most likely will be a big number for him. But power's not going to be there. RBIs aren't going to be there. And I think the batting average obviously isn't going to be this high, even though I think 290 to 300 is definitely a possibility. But while he's at white hot and at peak value with Simpson, he's a perfect sell high hitter this week. April 8th versus the Cubs, 1 for 4 stolen base. April 10th versus the Yankees, 1 for 5, 2 RBIs. April 11th pinched it in that one, 1 for 1, 2 runs, a stolen base. And April 12th versus the Yankees, 3 for 4, an RBI, stolen base, and 2 runs scored. So like I said, Simpson will give you a few categories, obviously, but he's going to be lacking big time in home runs, RBIs, and even on base percentage compared to batting average. Last season, it was a struggle for him where he's a free swinger, and even this year, obviously a small sample size, only 56 at-bats in the early going, but his on-base to batting average is only 30% higher, so definitely someone where pitches are going to adjust and try to get him to chase a little bit more, where he's swinging early in counts, and a sell-high hitter this week. The next player, Jordan Walker of the St. Louis Cardinals. Jordan Walker, former top prospect in the Cardinal system, and a lot of growing pains over the last couple seasons, but so far he's been one of the best hitters in all Major League Baseball, and he's showing monster power, and he was the number 1 prospect in all Major League Baseball 3 or 4 seasons ago, and that's definitely come to fruition. But like I said, I don't know if it's going to hold up. A lot of young hitters in this lineup, and pitchers, they're going to start adjusting and even pitching around Walker a little bit, I think, and try to face the next unproven hitter in this Cardinal lineup, where they're trotting out the guys in their second and third years in the league. So far in the year for Walker, like I said, no doubt about it, he's going out there and he's putting up huge numbers in the early going, but it's only a small sample size, even though he's already passed his home run total from last season with this year. In 300 less at-bats on the season, 8 home runs, 15 RBIs, 14 runs scored, a stolen base, a 327 batting average, and a 390 on base percentage. So Walker's going out there, showing monster power for the St. Louis Cardinal team, batting 3rd and 4th in this lineup daily. And finally, maybe the pressure's off Jordan Walker. We know he's changed his stance a little bit and adjust, no doubt about it, putting up huge numbers. April 10th versus Boston, 2 for 4 run. April 11th versus Boston, 1 for 3, a homer and RBI. April 12th versus the Red Sox, 2 for 4, homer and RBI. And April 13th versus the Guardians in that one, 1 for 3, a homer and RBI. So like I said, Jordan Walker, he's going out there. He's showing monster power in the early going. But like I said, 8 home runs with only 15 RBIs on the season obviously is pretty low. But he's showing the power, and he was the number 1 prospect. But like I said, this is the best he's played so far in his Major League career. And someone going off track record over the last couple seasons, even though, like I said, some guys come into the zone 3-4 seasons into their career. Still, he's someone I wouldn't 100% trust keeping up, especially at this pace. He's a sell-high hitter this week. Next hitter, Brandon Nimmo of the Texas Rangers. Brandon Nimmo, he's off to a roaring start to begin the season for this Ranger team, where obviously he spent his whole career with the New York Mets, over a decade in the minors and majors total. On the year, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, 10 runs scored, a stolen base, a whopping 367 average, and a 433 on base percentage. So far, strikeout rate is down a little bit, is Brandon Nimmo, but he's a guy that gets his numbers in bunches. Like, it just takes him 2 months of the season really to get a majority of his numbers, and we've seen that over the last couple seasons with Nimmo. His speed has definitely gone down, even though last season he did steal 13 stolen bases. He's definitely got more pop. Is Brandon Nimmo 25 home runs last season? But I think in that top 4 or 5 guys in the lineup last year with the Mets is stronger than it is this season with the Rangers. So I think so far that average is fluky, hitting 370 obviously, and he's had a 2-run home run game as well that has padded the stats a little bit so far this year. April 10th at the Dodgers, 1 for 4 run. April 11th at the Dodgers, 3 for 4, 2 homers, 3 RBIs. April 12th at the Dodgers, 2 for 5, 2 RBIs. And April 13th at the A's in that one, as the game's going on as of now, he's 0 for 2 is Brandon Nimmo. So Nimmo showing power, but he's back to leadoff, where with the New York Mets the last few seasons, he was not the leadoff hitter, where obviously Francisco Lindor took that spot. So right now, Brandon Nimmo playing great baseball with his new team, first season with this Ranger team. But like I said, he's a guy we've seen it year after year the last couple seasons. Numbers will be decent at the end of the year, but a lot of peaks and valleys where there'll be some months, yeah, he'll hit 8-10 home runs in a month, and some months he'll hit under 200 and hit only 1 or 2 home runs and not do much for fantasy owners. So right now, while he's off to a great start, definitely a hitter going off track record I would sell this week. Next hitter, O'Neal Cruz of the Pittsburgh Pirates. So O'Neal Cruz, he's off to a monster start in the early going, and he was a former top prospect a few seasons ago with this Pirate team, but so far this season he's off to a way better start than last year. The only thing obviously for sure I could count on with Cruz is he's going to steal anywhere from 30 to 40 bases this season, but everything else is a big question mark for Cruz. On the season, 5 home runs, 16 RBIs, 14 runs scored already, 7 stolen bases, a .340 batting average, and a .420 on base percentage. He's going out there on O'Neal Cruz. He's crushing the baseball, and he's been a catalyst for this Pittsburgh Pirate offense that's definitely rejuvenated with some good ads in the offseason with Brandon Lau, Brian O'Hearn, Marcell Ozuna, even though so far he can't hit the baseball at all, is Marcell Ozuna. So the last few games for O'Neal Cruz, April 10th at the Cubs, 1 for 2 a stolen base. April 11th at the Cubs, 4 for 5 a run, 3 stolen bases. April 12th at the Cubs, 1 for 4 a homer, an RBI, a stolen base in that one. And April 13th versus the Nats, 2 for 3, 3 runs scored, 3 RBIs, a stolen base. So like I said, he's going to get his bases. Obviously, it's O'Neal Cruz. That's a guarantee. 30 to 40 stolen bases on the season. But everything else I think is a toss-up. I still think he's a guy that could hit 20 home runs, driving about 60, 70 runs. But we know the batting average is going to be low. We know the strikeout rate, it's going to be up there for O'Neal Cruz already this season as well. We've seen 20 strikeouts in only 62 at-bats, so that's on the same pace. We had 174 strikeouts last season in 471 at-bats. So like I said, that's fluky, the batting average to me for O'Neal Cruz in the early going. And like I said, as a leadoff hitter, the RBIs aren't going to be that great. So with all those factors, I would sell him this week. In the final hit, I look to sell in trades Liam Hicks of the Miami Marlins. Liam Hicks, he's been a big surprise in the early going for this Marlin team of fantasy owners, where he's been a hot pickup over the last couple weeks. And on the season so far, qualifying at catcher and first, which is great versatility. And obviously at the catching position, where after 8-10 top catches, that's it. It really falls off on the year for Hicks. 3 home runs, 16 RBIs, 10 runs scored, a .289 batting average, and a .360 on base percentage. He's going out there, he's putting the bat on the ball, he's playing good baseball for this Marlin team, and he's in the meat of the order batting cleanup. April 9th versus Cincinnati, 1 for 4 run. April 10th at the Tigers, 0 for 3. April 11th at the Tigers, 1 for 4 with a run. April 12th at the Tigers, 0 for 1. And April 13th at the Braves, a big game, 3 for 4 tonight with 3 RBIs and a stolen base. So Liam Hicks playing great baseball, no doubt about it, for this Miami Marlin team. But like I said, he's another guy throughout his career. We've seen it. He's not going to put up huge numbers. And this is just early season luck for some of these players on this list, where I don't expect them to keep it up. So right now, the plays I've mentioned, they're definitely playing good baseball, hitting the baseball well, but they're sell-high candidates where their peak value, most of these guys I've mentioned, so that's a few hitters I look to sell and trade for week 4 of the fantasy baseball season.